I wanted to take this time to talk about what happened today. There are certain things that happened, and I feel that it's very necessary that I share this kind of information because, I've been teaching over 3 decades now, and with all the advancements in technology, in our culture, in our society, people should be better. Also, people should be better because supposedly every 5 years our generation takes a leap forward, meaning human beings gain a greater capacity, our potential actually, moving forward in the evolution. So let's say even that is true or not, and if that was, what I'm saying is people should be much better after 3 decades now, the way they learn, process information, their attitude, their personality. They're able to go ahead and connect the dots because, all this is looking at common patterns, What are common patterns and what are dissimilar patterns? It's comparing and contrasting. It's my biggest frustration. I ran a test today, tip test, and I've had 3 students who were tipping, okay? And the one student came on regular attendance and she had the opportunity to be coached by me, so she was right on. But before that, she even was experiencing another martial art. She came for 2 months without being mindful at all, couldn't remember a darn thing. Not even how to set the first beginner stance and what it's called even. Then I had another girl, and she was totally clueless. And then I had another guy, and he actually was a student. He's a purple belt intermediate, who long time ago, over a year ago, he quit over a year and a half, 2 years. He said, "Sir, I need a break," whatever it is, and then he went away, and then he came back. So he should understand exactly what my expectations are and do that much better. But his form, he did everything actually pretty good, except to the last part of doing his form. And his form obviously wasn't practiced. Before I tested them, I gave this whole scenario that this is a performance test, and I do this at every test, meaning there's already been taught all the material. There's nothing new. They have to perform under stress, under pressure, that's all. So I told them, I'm going to make this like a real test. I'm going to critique it hard and give you some pressure so that you can see how it's really like. All these people are college graduates. The guy who I'm talking about was my intermediate. He was actually had a cush job at Loyola Marymount. He went to graduate school and all that, and he had a great job. In my opinion, education, when you go to school, one of the most fundamental things that you have to learn is that you have to learn how to think. How to think means that you should be able to self-teach yourself what you don't know and figure out a way to solve a problem. It is not for graduation. I want you to understand that it is a myth today that you graduate with a college degree, with a BA or a BS degree, and that you can land a job. Not so. There are thousands, literally tens of thousands of lawyers that are not working. Let's put it this way. There's a high percentage, they say, of attorneys working, employed. But what they're taking into consideration in their statistics is they're working as a waiter or in a fast food restaurant or whatever it is, and they're just putting them all together as employee. But if they graduated from law school with a law degree, the only thing that should count is whether they're working in the legal field or not. Or it doesn't matter, because then the college degree had nothing to do with them getting a job. I want you to also further understand that systematically, since the time that I graduated from high school, that was the first year they implemented this program, about bringing a GPA of 5.0 to AP classes. So now today, from that beginning to now, what has happened is the GPA, the average is 4.0 now. Of course, the grading scale has diminished. So now there's lower expectation, lower achievements that they're accepting as higher grades, as A's and B's. There used to be a time when there were only few A students in the whole school. When I was in high school, there was probably a handful of kids who were getting straight A's. It was very difficult. But to get a 4.0, there were only a few kids that did that. That's outstanding. Those people then are going to have certain ability to go ahead and succeed in the workforce, supposedly. But now, since they're such all are at the same level, unless you're doing exceptionally well and really, top of your class, you're not going to be guaranteed a job. A degree doesn't suffice. One of the most important things that I look for is the ability for them to solve their problems on their own. I said, if I was running a school, my only thing that I would require for graduation is that by the time in their term at school, that they come up with an original idea. Why are we regurgitating, learning the same crap that was taught many years ago? Why are we spending a fortune to learn crap that we never even use or ascertain and implement in our daily lives? It serves us no purpose whatsoever. I know that for a fact because students are worse now than they were before. And this is also the thing I don't understand. Why do they come up to me when all the material is given to them? It's written on the attendance cards. It's written in the Sunday Journal. It's taught in class. But they never practice the test. They never practice it. I don't understand that. If you're going to be tested on basics, okay, what comes first? What do we do here? What do we do that? You should understand all these things before they come into. But they just walk in, and act like this is some type of gym or something. And they come in and go. And then when you bark at them, why don't you know? They get this blank stare on their face. Like, feed me. Like, didn't I pay you money to go ahead and teach me? There is no sense of accountability. They're not owning up to their mistakes. They're doing everything but making themselves accountable. It's my fault. I should have learned. I should have better prepared. As soon as they come up and they go, I don't know anything, then they should be actually pleading. Master or teacher, whatever it is, I'm sorry, I apologize, but you know what, I don't know, I blanked out, or I haven't learned these things, or whatever it is. Then they try to fudge it. When they try to fudge it, that pisses me off more than anything, because now it's disrespecting me, right? Obviously, they think they can go in and pull a fast one on me. This is a terrible thing to think about. How does somebody... And this is our society, right? But this is the mentality. This is what I've been dealing with. I'm sorry today I'm a little bit of aggro because I'm dealing with these issues today. I had a student here, we gave, last year we did an expo and we did a raffle. And I gave away our Greenbelt program. It's the winner. We did a drawing. They came here for a bullet French class and one of the parents won the lotto. Okay? Won the prize. Interestingly enough, one of my assistant instructors at the time, after she won and they left, said something to me. He said, "Sir, she was the worst example of parenting I ever saw." But I said, "Don't ever say that. Don't say that. Don't pass that kind of judgment. How do you know? You don't know their situation. She has her own story, probably." So I gave it to her, and and that's even better. The child's going to need it. So this is back in September, October of last year. She lives in downtown. Yes, I understand. It's free. Yes. Well, this is already May, right? He has not belt tested for his first belt. Now, for you in Testo Hangul students, they only need to know 4 basics for the Little Tiger class. 4 basics. 4 kick-punch combinations. But they haven't learned it in the past. It's 8 months now. The Greenbelt program is a 9-month program. It's expired. So I sat her down and I gave her all the talk. I told her what needs to happen. I understand why you're far away. I understand the time constraints. I understand you're busy. I understand all these things. However, if you want your child to succeed, you have to be consistent and regular in the class. And I pulled out the attendance card and I showed her how many times you came. It's not good enough. And soon as he learns something, and he goes back and then, don't come back for a week and a half, 2 weeks. He forgets everything. That's the nature of children. They learn quickly, but they forget quickly. So I explained all these things. She got it. She was apologetic. She did all this stuff. And I had a feeling she was not going to come back. I said, you got to get him. We're going to test him this month. Make sure you bring him on next week and get everything down. She said, oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. Right? Sure enough. Sends an email, not to me, but sent an email to Andrea and said, oh, Grandmaster Louis was disrespectful. He said this, he said that. He disrespected the child. He did this and did that. Bada-bee, bada-bee, bada-boo. And that it's so far, the class at 4:15, it's unreasonable. How can anybody function under this pressure? I mean, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and reply back. But this is very frustrating, right? And I even asked her this question. I said, your program that you want is $1,300, close to $1,300. Now, if you paid for that, would you not be more attentive? I asked her. She said, yes, probably. That was my whole point to her. But it shouldn't be the money issue, right? It should be the kid issue. The kid. This is what's good for the kid, so I'm going to do whatever I can to go ahead and make my kid succeed. So the parent makes sacrifices. And parents, or people who are not parents, if you don't understand what parenting is, it is all that. One word. Sacrifice. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, don't have children. The problem then starts from there. You see, starts from there. They grow all the way up. And then I have this problem like I did earlier today. These grown men and women in their 20s and 30s who come up to you and with only one thing, entitlement and self-esteem. I'm good. I'm cool. I love myself. I don't know anything I'm doing right now, but that's what I'm paying you for. If we do not get out of this mind, one, we cannot create innovation. People are not pushed forward to think properly and create solutions. If all the people were educated properly to continue to think, with all of our college graduates, with all the cumulative college graduates in the world today, we should come up with a better solution than what we are stuck with today. Right now, we are at a crisis, economically, socially, politically, and environmentally. How do we get to this point if we are so brilliant? We have the potential. We have the potential to be brilliant. But this is what I tell everybody. Everybody has potential. Even a rock has potential. Anything and everything has potential. If you don't do anything with that potential, then nothing happens. Just knowing you have potential doesn't change anything. Only action, good intentions, doesn't change anything. Self-love, self-healing doesn't change anything unless that self-love and self-healing, after you heal, you go and do something with that. You do something by taking action that's positive in society to help other people and extend your good energy, your love to other people. Self-love with yourself alone means nothing. You must be stranded on an island. It doesn't matter. We cannot rely on anything. The one key I suggest and one fundamental concept in our Hwarangdo training, and it should be in any martial arts training, any martial arts schools, I plead, the single most important goal for you to do is to make sure that your students understand the idea of self-reliance. Self-reliance, independence. If they do not become independent, then they cannot be free. And if they're not free, they cannot understand what is freedom. And then since they don't understand, they will not fight for it. Independency also creates then individuality, uniqueness. It is, if you want to be marketable, you must make yourself different, unique than everybody else. Not the same. You can't go to John Mark and go, hey, I can do the same thing he does. I can do the same thing he does. So what? I already have him. What can you do more? What can you do better or different? What makes you special? Why are you unique? This is the question you have to ask yourself. What makes you special? What makes you unique? If you were in school and you were bullied, it's because you probably were very different. See, our system, our society, now we're anti-bullying and all this other stuff. But you know what? If you want to stop bullying and all these other things, it has to stop with the parents. You can't sit there and talk about other people, talk down about other people, talk about your cousins, your family, your uncles, and so on and so forth. Oh yeah, this uncle sucked, You talk down about everybody. And then you expect your child to go in and not do the same? Self-reliance, self-governance, independence. This is what we must teach. This is what we must aspire to. We must be able to do this one person at a time. So it has to start somewhere. And this is my message to you. It is to the martial arts community. That we make an invested effort in trying to change the perception of our students. To at least have them understand about their capacity, their potential. What they're capable of doing. And then give them a good solid work ethic. To make sure that they're not afraid to work hard. And face up to challenges. He said, you know, as I say over and over, this is why I repeat it over and over, we're all going to die. This is a given. So the investment of time, you have to invest time to think about how you're going to live the limited time you have. And how you're going to affect change or whatever it is, and how you're going to remember after you die. Please take a moment and think about that. And then do it. Do it. All of you have the potential. Every one of you. And the next one of you can be the person that changes the entire world and brings about world unity and peace. Don't think it's not possible. Anything is possible.